it matters in other places that we are fighting back in North Carolina and that you fight back in your cities. So that's the first thing. And so I'm so glad folks are here to hear this. The second thing has to do with the language of our movement. So there are two ways that coalitions have traditionally been destroyed. Transactional and transformational coalitions alike have been destroyed around race and around language. How people talk about what they're doing and how people talk about the issue of race no matter where they are. That's been the points of destruction. So I just want people, as they build their coalition, to look at that you have to have inclusive language that also is mirrored by what you do. But you have to be able to make sure that when you're talking, that people know that you mean them. And we've been able to do that in North Carolina, and that's really important. The second thing, and I'll sit down, has to do with the centrality of race. And it's very central and important if you're in the South in particular, but everywhere. Everybody that's been in the coalition knows that when the enemy is on you, that's it. The last place they go is race to divide, and they do. And we have not been afraid to talk race. We've not been afraid to talk about disparate impact. Who gets the brunt of these bad laws? People are not afraid of that. But if you don't talk about it, people can be forced away by their fears.
That's right.
So it's two pieces that I just want people to, I want to lift up and I want us to come back to. Is how are we talking about the work? What's the language of the coalition? What are our words that we're lifting up? How important that is? And then the second thing is the centrality of race. How we deal with it, how we don't run away from it, and how we work through that so that we can have an honest and real honest transformational coalition. So that's my, those are my 2 points. And I'll give it back to Reverend Barber.
So write some questions down on that, because we want to, that's serious, that we need to talk about that. And you have to be able to have that talk in, you heard me last night talk about Mitchell County.
Yes, everywhere.
99% white, 89% Republican, but we took the movement there and found allies.
Yes.
That once they understood the myth of domination and the myth of racism, we were able to, we connected. We want to probe that some, okay? And let me just say something too, just write this down. You cannot measure the success of this movement immediately.
That's right.
Amen.
See, it's not just about did you win the vote. The question is, do you win the consciousness of the people? And we're going to talk later on about victories. Why we're so hopeful. You said, but they voted on all this stuff and they passed it. Why are they so hopeful? Are they drunk? Are they, what's wrong with them? No. We actually see something happening in the midst of the pain. What they meant for evil actually being worked to good.
Oh,
See, you cannot see victory just at the resurrection.
that's right.
You got to see victory at the cross.
That's right.
Y'all?
Good morning again. My name is Yara Allen, and I am a Moral Monday arrestee. I always love to say that after my name because I'm very proud of that. I came to this movement. The movement, really I had been around the movement with the HK on J, so it's sort of like dancing around the fire without actually jumping in. But what really drew me to the Forward Together moral movement was that it spoke to my personal issues. I came into the movement as an unemployed person. And the movement really spoke to my issue, and not just my issue, because when we're in a movement, we can't be selfish. We have to think of other people. Yeah. So not only did it speak to my issues, but it spoke to my family's issues, and it spoke to my neighbor's issues, and then it spoke to those people's issues who I don't know, but I care deeply about because we're all a part of the human race. And so that on May 13th, I went into the State House, which is really funny because it's the people's house, it's our house. Amen. And I went in to raise my moral voice and was arrested. And I am quite proud that I made that step because I thoroughly believe in what we're fighting for. One of the things that's really, really interesting about this movement, as Reverend Barber mentioned, is the music in the movement. If you're out there on a Moral Monday, and you hear the music, not just coming from my sister and I, but from the participants in the movement, from the people, you'll find that it's a special kind of energy flowing throughout the movement. And we know that movements have to have music. It's the personality of the movement. And I always like to use this example. What if you walked into a club, those of you who may have gone to a club? What if you walked, and may still visit the club, what if you walked in and there was no music the entire night? You got dressed, you went, you're going to socialize, you're going to get a few phone numbers, you're going to hook up. I don't know what the purpose was, but you went there and there was absolutely no music. How would you feel about that club? And so it's the same way with a movement, because the movement, the music is the energy, it is the effervescence. It's like opening a Sprite and it's flat. You're looking for that fizz, you're looking for that effervescence of that drink, right? So it's the same thing with the movement. Another thing that the music does really quickly is that it gives us collective identity. It brings us all together on common ground. And when that music starts speaking our pain and speaking our hopes, we all become united in that one voice that the music speaks. Lastly, the movement for me and for many others with whom I've spoken offers these three things: reunion, revival, and renewal. And it offers reunion because you can hear people from Monday to Monday saying, this is a family reunion. I've connected with people, you know. And the next thing that it offers is revival, or re-energizing of spirit. And that is through what we hear and what we sing and how we connect. Finally, it's a renewal of hope. When we come together, and after, do you know that it takes energy to fight? And so when your energy is depleted and you come back together and you're singing together and you're chanting together, it gives you that renewal of hope. But most of all, I am most proud that I have the right to stand up for what I believe and to fight no matter what it takes. Let's all say together, forward together, not one step back.
Not one step back.
So here's the person who's drawn in because they were in the midst of being affected by the policy. Now I want you to hear this. 13 more Mondays.
13 more Mondays.
In Raleigh.
In Raleigh.
13 in Raleigh. But 63. Say 63.
63.
Tomorrow Monday events.
Tomorrow Monday events.
Outside of Raleigh.
Outside of Raleigh.
Now watch this. You said, but I thought we focused on state legislature. We followed them home.
Yes.
See, when they went home, we went home behind the legislature. But we kept the focus still on the legislature. All right. Sauda.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Sauda Aisha, and I too am an arrestee, proud of it. May 13th. Let me tell you, I'm going to be real. That's all I know to do. I'm a real. How many of you have ever seen a mad dog? There's something about a mad dog that's really scary and dangerous. I've worked in the area of social work for basically all of my life, for the last 14 years, most specifically with youth. When I began my job, I was able to employ over 300 youth per summer. Right now, I employ 27. That's a major drop.
Major.
And when I talk to the parents of these young people, and I have no explanation for them that they would accept as to why their children cannot work during the summer. Because for a lot of them, the money that they make during the summer helps to pay light bills. It helps to pay rent. It helps to make sure that they have clothes to go back to school. And so working around that atmosphere made me angry when I saw the results of some of the policies that were coming out of our state legislature. But I went beyond being angry and I got mad. Now, being mad with no direction is dangerous. And so I had to be in something that gave it some context and some direction. And I was introduced to the Forward Together movement. I was not following a personality. I didn't even know who this man of God was at the time. I had seen him, but I didn't really know him personally. I wasn't following a personality, but I was following a movement because it gave context and direction to my anger. And it gave me a place to be able to work doing what I love best. I'm a cultural activist. And so to be able to use my voice to sing and then to take that information back home to Rocky Mount and work with my students and work with their parents and other people in my community to help build something there, that is why I'm in the movement. And I encourage you to follow your path here. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Not one step back.
Not one step back.